It was Jake's idea, really. A late-night adventure sounded perfect. Just the four of us. Jake, Claire, Mike, and me, Sarah. We had heard rumors about the old mental asylum on the outskirts of town. Abandoned for decades, it was said to be haunted by the spirits of those who had suffered there. We arrived at the crumbling structure, just as the sun dipped below the horizon. The asylum loomed before us, its broken windows like empty eyes staring into our souls. Vines clung to the walls, as if nature itself was trying to strangle the life out of it. "Creepy as hell," Mike muttered, his flashlight flickering to life. "Let's get this over with," Claire said, her voice a mix of excitement and fear. We pushed through the rusted gates, the hinges squealing in protest. Inside, the air was thick with dust and decay, and every step we took echoed through the hollow halls. Our flashlights cast long, trembling shadows, making the peeling wallpaper seem like it was moving. "Hey, check this out!" Jake called from up ahead. He had found an old patient file, yellowed with age. The picture attached showed a gaunt, haunted face. Dr. Henry Mercer conducted experiments on the patients, real mad scientist stuff. We exchanged uneasy glances. The deeper we went, the more we found. Rooms filled with rusty, outdated medical equipment and scribbled notes that hinted at gruesome treatments. Suddenly, Claire froze, her flashlight illuminating a message scrawled on the wall in what looked like dried blood. "Help us." A chill ran down my spine. "Maybe we should go back," I suggested, but Jake shook his head. "We're already here. We might as well see it all." We pressed on, reaching the heart of the asylum, a large circular room lined with cells. It was the experimental wing, and it reeked of death. The smell was overpowering, making my stomach churn. Then we heard it, a faint whisper, barely audible. "Leave." "Did you hear that?" Claire whispered, her eyes wide with terror. "Yeah," Mike replied, his face pale. "We should definitely go." But the doors slammed shut with a deafening bang, plunging us into darkness. Our flashlights flickered, then died, leaving us in pitch black. Panic set in, and we fumbled to find each other. "Stay calm," Jake shouted. But it was hard to keep calm when the whispers grew louder, surrounding us. A sudden freezing cold washed over us, and I felt a hand grasp my arm. Cold, clammy, and very real. I screamed, pulling away, but there was nothing there. "They're here," Claire sobbed, clinging to me. "The spirits." Desperate, we tried to find a way out, but the asylum seemed to change around us. Hallways stretched longer, doors led to nowhere, and the whispers turned into anguished cries. We stumbled into a room filled with old, rusty cages. Inside one, a figure moved. It was a young woman, her eyes hollow and her mouth stitched shut. Her ghostly form flickered, and she reached out to us, mouthing something we couldn't understand. "Dr. Mercer did this," Jake said, his voice trembling. "He tortured them, experimented on them." Suddenly, the ghostly figure lunged at Jake, her face twisted in agony. He screamed, and we watched in horror as she merged with him, her spirit engulfing his body. Jake's eyes rolled back, and he dropped to the floor, convulsing. "We need to go," I shouted, but it was too late. The spirits were all around us now, their anger palpable. Claire and Mike were pulled away from me, disappearing into the darkness with their screams echoing in the air. Left alone, I ran, the asylum twisting and warping around me. I could hear the spirits closing in, feel their icy breath on my neck. Just when I thought I couldn't run any longer, I stumbled into a room filled with old dusty files. Desperation drove me to sift through them. Dr. Mercer's records were there, detailing his horrific experiments. He believed he could cure insanity by breaking and rebuilding the human mind. His patients were his guinea pigs, subjected to unspeakable tortures. Then, I found it. A ritual. Mercer had tried to bind the spirits of his victims to the asylum, trapping them forever, but he failed, and now they were vengeful, taking their anger out on anyone who dared enter. I had to do something. With trembling hands, I followed the ritual steps, hoping to release the spirits. As I finished the last step, a blinding light filled the room, and the cries of the spirits grew deafening. When the light faded, the asylum was silent. The spirits were gone, but so were my friends. I was alone in the eerie stillness. I stumbled out into the night. the asylum looming behind me. It was over, but the memories would haunt me forever. I could still hear the whispers, feel the cold grip of the spirits. As I reached the safety of my car, I looked back one last time. In the window, I saw them, Jake, Claire, Mike, and the countless others who had suffered there. They were free, but their eyes still held the pain and torment of their past. The asylum was empty now, but its dark history lingered. I knew I would never forget what had happened there, and as I drove away, I couldn't shake the feeling that something had followed me, that the spirit's whispers would haunt me for the rest of my life. Maybe they were free, but I never would be.